I'm 𝗚𝗲𝘁 𝗬𝗶𝗲𝘄, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. Welcome to this episode of the Get Your New View podcast. Today, I have a special guest, 𝗚𝗲𝘁 𝗬𝗶𝗲𝘄, who is one of our founders and our CIO, and she's here to talk to us today about MRP and production planning as a phase 2 project. Kim, why do companies put this off until phase 2?
Well, I think what we see a lot is MRP and production planning will actually get implemented, but the problem is it never really gives people the right answer or they don't trust it. So it'll get implemented, and then all of a sudden they'll kind of question the numbers, and the numbers won't seem right. They're not sure how they got to that. And then they just stop using it. So then they start building like production planning in a spreadsheet. So a lot of times when we come in, it was actually implemented, but it just got dropped and stopped using it. And we see this a lot because I think the biggest thing is if you're coming from a system that didn't really have that in, I don't think a lot of people understand the planning parameters and the forecast and all of the setup that kind of goes into making sure that MRP and production planning runs properly. So, and it's a natural fit that, okay, I've been in BC a while, I've been running it in these spreadsheets, I need to start using this system that I've actually bought. And that's a lot of times when we get brought in.
Yeah. Is it difficult to put this in place after go live?
It's difficult it's not difficult to actually have this be a second phase project, but there are it is its own mini project. And I'm not going to say it's easy because the biggest thing with this is that there's setups and parameters on the items and the forecast. There's so many moving pieces that making sure you understand them and making sure we test each one of them, it is pretty labor intensive. I'm not going to lie. It's not, it really does take some dedication and a good solid team to actually go through and get it working properly. Now, once you get it working properly, it really does run. But the biggest part is figuring out, can I trust the number that it comes back with and is telling me to do? Is it telling me to build too many production orders? Do I not understand that number? So it really is, it's not difficult, but it is difficult.
Yeah. It's an involved project, and it should be because you're getting some really good quality data out of all of that work that you did to figure that out. Kim, what is it that companies don't know about MRP and production planning that you think they should?
I think the biggest thing I'd run into is having them understand all the planning parameters, and also understanding how purchasing and production kind of go together with MRP and MPS. And so if we haven't figured out all the purchasing parameters to get the inventory in so that we can actually produce it, a lot of people ignore that part. They're just really focused on, well, my MRP doesn't work. But all these pieces kind of come together and fit together to be a total solution. So really taking a step back and figuring out, okay, where is this broken? If I don't have lead times on my parts that I'm purchasing from a vendor, well, that makes it very hard to actually plan MRP if I never know when stuff is going to be here. Or if I don't update my receipt dates, again, how am I going to, well, it was supposed to be here last month. Well, it's not going to get here until next month. So, the system is only as good as the information that you put into it. And it's really making sure you understand what information needs to be put into the system.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you have a favorite customer story about a company who's put MRP and production planning into place? Do you have phase 2 projects that have been on your to-do list for way too long? Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.
We're actually working with a company right now, and it's been a really great project. Like, their team has just dug in, and they're reading as much as they can, learning as much as they can, and it's really been a great project to kind of figure out for them, like, how they can take advantage of the system that they purchased. You know, they've been running stuff in spreadsheets. They've been, really digging in, and it's kind of impressive the stuff that they've got to on their own. And then for us to kind of come in and say, okay, let's do a little bit of training on the parameters. Let's make sure you understand them. Let's go through in your sandbox, kind of all the setups we need to do. We take a subset of the items. We work through the forecasting, the purchasing, the production piece of it. And it's been a really fun project because everybody is so engaged and everybody is kind of in there digging in. So,
yeah, it's fantastic seeing that when it works and people really do what they need to get that really great quality information. And I just love people, smiling when they look at their data and they're like, this is right. We believe what it's telling us and it's making sense.
Yeah.
What are the top things a company could do to prepare for a project like this?
The biggest thing, and we've done this with a couple of people too, sometimes we've said, if they're in NAV and they're moving to BC, maybe the BC plan is like a year out. One of the things we will do with them is go ahead and try and get their parameters right. Even if they're not going to fully use MRP, the first thing you have to do is really get to know your data. So, we like to do kind of a training process. We have a couple of training classes that kind of go through the setups, and explain those. So making sure you kind of do some training, really figure out what your settings are, whether you're going to use it or not. Those things are key to how the system works. So making sure you have lead times, making sure you understand, the lead time. Do you have different vendors? Do you have lead time set up on all the vendors? Looking at those planning parameters. Are you doing lot for lot? Are you not doing lot for lot? Making sure you kind of figure those things out first. And then kind of, then the next step of the project is loading all of that data and making sure it actually works.
Yeah. How does NewView make it easy to do a project like this in phase 2?
I think the biggest thing that NewView makes it easy, the way that we make it easy, is that we've done this a lot. We kind of have a system down that we do with it. There's some training, then there's, figuring out there's an analysis phase where we figure out what your item settings should be. And then there's kind of a testing phase. So like, we kind of like to do the really hammering the heck out of it to figure out, do we have the settings right? We also start with a small subset. We're not trying to do everything and boil the ocean all at once. It's really kind of pick a small group that we can work on, and it's very controlled. So we know if something's working or not working. And then we kind of roll out that same process to the next group. So getting all the parameters set right, running it through the sandbox, making sure all of that stuff works, making sure we can explain the items, why we're getting the numbers that we're getting, and making sure that we can trust those. And then rolling that into production and then kind of monitoring it in production and making sure that it gives us the results that we want. Now, if we don't have the results we want, we go back to the drawing board, figure out where we need to tweak the parameters, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, makes sense. If this is a project that sounds like something your company needs, contact us today. It's super easy. Just send us a quick email to info@getyournewview.com. And we'll set up a quick 30-minute call to talk to you about how you can get phase 2 projects like this done at your company. Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better decisions, and even love their system. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.